Okay, December 21st of 2025. Obviously, I hear the rain. It's at 7:45 a.m. in the morning. Now, I googled Surrey weather, right? So today it's going to rain, right? Tomorrow it's going to be heavier. And then Tuesday it's going to rain. Wednesday is going to rain. Tuesday is going to rain. Monday is going to be heavier. Now, just keep in mind, it could change, right? It's just cloudy, I suppose. Then it picks up again on Friday and it gets heavier, right? And then Saturday is rain. So we got rain all week, people. All week. With some of it coming in heavier. And when it comes in at night, at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, oh my God. Oh yeah, it's starting to pick up. I can hear it. I'm sitting here looking up amaranth. Because I'm going to try and plant a few things this year. I want to plant flowers in the front, edible and non-edible, in memory of Sierra. And I just want to do that. I'm going to try and do a few little vegetables. I don't know. We'll have to see how much time I have, right? Because you got to start the seeds. And, I think I'm going to use the bathroom downstairs. I'm going to move this rack up here where I have some grow lights on it. This is too low. Where I have some grow lights on it. Right? And I'm going to put my... aloe vera plants. They're in my other little grow room when I used to grow those tomatoes in there and whatnot. I'm going to put them in the bathroom downstairs. I might even move down a grow light down there because there's a plug, right, that hangs, right? So I'll probably try and start some seeds there in terms of, food, right? Some kind of tomato, maybe a few cucumbers, like earlier than if I was to do it in the X Club, right? I can do beans and stuff like that in the X Club. I can do a few, but tomatoes and stuff, you kind of have to start earlier, right? If you want food, you kind of have to start it earlier versus outside, right? Anyway, that's what I'm going to try and do, right? I had amaranth a long time ago, and I'm sure it's still in around the yard anyway. I think I want some amaranth. And I'm looking at the amaranth, right? And I'm going to use that kitchen downstairs, people. Right? I'm going to teach Andre how to make 30 pizza pockets where, some of them can go in I'm going to teach Andre how to make bread dough, and then we can freeze some of that dough. And then I'll, Andre, because I'm going to stop buying. I have the wheat. As a matter of fact, my last little shop here, right, in terms of wheat, I did. It's coming. I'll show you. I did 44 pounds of iniok. It's an ancient grain. It's organic, and it's good for eyesight. 44 pounds, okay? It was a little expensive, but that's okay. And then I bought a different wheat. What did I buy? And I bought green lentils, right? I don't know if the lentils are organic, but anyway. And I bought a different wheat, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Corn berries, ancient grains, 44 pounds, right? And then I got organic Comet berries, which is ancient grains. I only got, I guess I got 44 pounds there too, but it was cheaper. It was a cheaper one. This one was 110, and the Encom end corn. End corn was 209, right? Because they have different properties, and the end corn, and it means good for Amari, right? Obviously going to be good for Andre. And, you know, the end corn is good for eyes, right? Because of the, anyway, lessons or something. I don't know. And then I got some green lentils, 22 pounds there, right? And they should sprout, even though they say not organic. Chances are they'll probably sprout. I'm taking my dehydrator downstairs. I'm going to be sprouting, like for Amari. Like, this is not a game. Like, I only can see for, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to see. And then I don't know what's going to happen to me. I had a young lady here yesterday who wants to sew, right? Do piecework, whatever. You know, help me figure out what I'm going to do with my clothes, and maybe help me with Amari, right? Right? And she was here, and oh, what did she say to me? Oh, what was I going to say? I told her we have a whole year to work on figuring out, you know, like, whatever, right? Like, I don't know what her skills are. I mean, like, I don't know how committed she is, or what, right? You know, I can't just assume because somebody says yes, they're going to do this, this, and this, that they'll do it. That's the first thing. And, you know, it's like Andre, because, you know, I've had a couple people in and out talking about, you know, what I want to do for like the non-profit with the, you know, the cooking downstairs and utilizing whatever I'm going to be utilizing. I have a legitimate non-profit, people. I have a right to work on it, and, you know, I only got so much time to pass the torch, and there's, you know, so many different types of areas that can be developed where people have a better quality of life, for crying out loud, even if it's just a sense within themselves. Like for example, I'm going to teach this girl, you know, I'm going to say, you know, when you come, because, you know, I need to go through all those buckets downstairs, and, you know, now that I can get downstairs into my food preps and stuff, right? You know, before I, you know, I just need, because what happened was, okay, in the beginning, I didn't use mylar bags, and I didn't use auction absorbers, and, you know, I did vacuum seal, and okay, whatever, and then I got into the 44 pounds of this wheat and 44 pounds of that wheat, and, you know, next thing you know, I got 700 pounds of wheat, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting them into mylar bags with the auction absorbers, but I wasn't necessarily sealing them properly. I either folded them up and put them in the buckets with the gannel lids. So when I say I have to open them up and I have to check them, they just might end up becoming chicken food. Because if a weevil or something didn't, you know, got in there, and it's been sitting downstairs for a few years without me checking in on it, you know, it just might end up being chicken food yet. Because I didn't seal the mylar bag properly. So, you know, when I get the new wheat, I'm going to bag it up with the auction absorbers. I'm going to use, and even if you use a zip bag, I just read this just recently, even if you use the zip bags, you know, the Ziploc bags with the auction absorber, it's not good enough. You have to seal the end of it. And you can use a flat iron, you know, how hair it flat, right? And then for sure, you know you did it right. Okay? I use tape for some of them. Some of them, I just Ziplocked them. So I'm going to open them up. If they're still good, great. I'll take out the old ox, or I'll throw in some new auction absorbers in there, and I'll Ziplock it up, and this time I'm going to seal it properly. But if I end up having to donate chicken food to Mr. Gill, because I'm sure he knows where there's chickens, I'm just saying, he loves chickens. So I'm sure he could find somebody that's got chickens that would love to have that because, you know, I mean, if it's not good for us to eat because, you know, whatever, I didn't store it properly, right? You know, then I'll donate it to somewhere else. Otherwise, I'm going to be using it. I'm stopping to buy bread. What else did I buy? You know, and I'm going to work on Amari's cookbook. I'm bringing down an old Windows 7 that I have here at the end of the table, right? I'm already making plans. And it's got a, you know, some kind of a program where you can type into it and, you know, and print it out. And so, yeah, I'm going to be working on Amari's cookbook. Oh, most definitely, right? And, you know, if there's other people around, they can put their 2 cents into it, and who knows, right? You know, obviously, you know, going to be making apple pies and going to be making breads and, you know, and cake. I've got cake pans that I haven't used in years that I've been wanting to, so I'm taking them downstairs and we're going to make cakes. That's where that unbirthday cake idea came from, to take, you know, across the street just to, you know, to brighten the mood, you know what I mean? Not including what we're eating here, right? Okay? I have a right to have a life and be able to eat my food versus wondering if it's going to be thrown out in a freaking bin in buckets and with gamma lids yet. And everything else that I've got down there. Because of, I don't know what people, like, okay? So, and I bought this before my landlady accused me of lying to her over a pipe that she knows is a problem. And it's raining. And I'm trying to wrap my head around, just suck it up, Judy. It's like the yard. You got your whip on the back. If you didn't spend the amount of time that you did in that yard for all those years, you wouldn't be sitting here. You would have been kicked out a long time ago because that was the game. Well, now it's the freaking pipe, and it's still the yard, people. Okay? At least this year I'm thinking to plant flowers and maybe some food, including amaranth, and try and harvest the seeds versus having to buy the seeds myself. Because I've had it in my yard. I just didn't realize what it was when it came to full bloom. And now I'm kicking myself in the butt. So I'm right? Okay? And then, yeah, the green lentils, that's only 22 pounds. Just because, right? And then large lima beans. Oh, the lima beans, that I bought three of them at 5 pounds a bag, right? And I just bought. And I cooked them up, and they're so good. They're so good. And as I'm ordering, and I'm struggling with it, okay? I'm struggling with it because, you know, I have to pay, right? Use, pay. So I'm like, well, okay, you're getting to the point where you're just going to fold your hand and go bankrupt. I mean, it was kind of coming before this shit was coming up. You know, I was already thinking about maybe doing something or signing up with that 5-year thing or whatever, because, you know, I kind of need a credit card for my nonprofit. So, you know, the only way I could still retain a prepaid credit card would be is if I signed up for 5 years, paid my $100 a month for 5 years, and then, you know, my debt is whatever. Like, fuck no, I'd probably go bankrupt, you know, right? And I'm like, you know, I'm struggling with that, and I'm, you know, and then the sewage thing happens, and then my son moves out, and everybody got their eye on, they want me to get everything out of the basement. I'm sorry, you can't ask somebody to move in, stay as long as you want, you'll never raise the rent, stay as long as you want, you'll never raise the rent, right? No, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I came in with a full family, I already came in with a house full of crap. I had 2 freaking big-ass freaking moving trucks, for crying out loud. They were big. I paid a lot of money because I had a lot of people move in with me, and everybody had beds and dressers, and I'm a mother. I was a mother of 5. I was looking after Uncle John and Auntie Joan, and then I had the kitchen, and I had to buy extra to fill up the kitchen, and just whatever, and then the homeschooling and the nonprofit and the sewing that went on hold because of the yard, and you can't just expect somebody just to throw that all out, get rid of it. Take it out, get rid of everything. Like, that is impossible. If that's the case, bring another fucking, 3 bins? And then what? Not give me the receipt on that one and make me pay to have it pillaged? Like, come on. Right? So, and I'm like, okay, this is your last shop. Because I'm afraid to go downstairs. I haven't been down there for so long since Marina's been here. Now I realize I made a mistake with those Mylar bags by not sealing them the way they should have been, even though I was using the Ziploc with the oxygen absorbers and, whatever, thinking whatever, because at that time I didn't know how to seal them. I didn't have the machine. I couldn't afford to buy the machine to seal the bags. I didn't realize that you could use a flat iron for it, right? So I did what I could, okay? And now, years later, I'm having to backtrack and get into these buckets and making sure that the grains are okay, or whatever's in there, right? Most, like, wheats and rye and spelt and, chickpeas and, great northern white beans and those kind of things, right? That are like in the buckets, in Mylar bags, but probably not sealed. Even though they have oxygen absorbers, you need to seal the bag to be double sure. And I'm like, okay, so now that you finally get to go downstairs, I'm a little scared, right? Because, last thing I want to do is be throwing out food. But, before I'd throw it out, I would donate it if it was chicken food, right? I'm just saying. And I just thought to alleviate that stress within me, I set myself, I failed or whatever, beat myself up over it because, I didn't do it right the first time in terms of, food, long-term food storage. I'll just have a couple of bags to offset any mistakes that I come across or any loss. Right? Right? Because I'm already losing. I've been losing. That's all that's been happening. I'm having nightmares, bad dreams, like, all the time. And for what? For what? Oh, because I'm not allowed to live in freaking Canada and have a sense of peace in my life? Is that what it is? I'm bound to a pump and a garage that floods when it's not the freaking yard? Or what? I'm not allowed to utilize my food downstairs because I'm expected to get rid of it. I'm expected to throw out the fabric. I'm expected to get just whatever. I'm giving Andre Marquin's room. Yeah. We're going to try and... I told those guys they need to do the carpet first down there. Pull it up. Go underneath the floorboards. Let's see what's underneath there. Because it's right next to the bathroom with that water. Right? So it probably has to be cleaned. And, any wood, when it comes to floorboards, plywood, right? They can fix the fucking fence. I'm sorry, boo-boo fence. There you go. There's your fencing. Well, they won't do it, though. They'd leave it for me to do it. The only thing is I don't have my 2x4s anymore. I don't have nothing. I don't have anything. So even if I wanted to, I'm not going to be able to do it unless I spend a couple, $200, $300, $400 on wood. And I can't afford it. But besides that point, nobody cares about the fence. I'm the only one, really. So I bought the... Hold on a minute, for crying out loud. And that's another thing. Do these people... I don't care who they are. Do they, the freaking so-called quote-unquote plumbers, when they're not freaking carpenters, like, or whatever? Just saying. Like, what, do they want Amari to die? I had that dream, people. You know? And, like, do they want Andre to be a freaking street kid so that it's just another number to call when they need body parts somewhere down the family line, in terms of, oh, well, my grand uncle over there, you know, getting kind of old and his heart's going on him. So, you know, we just pull a number out of a hat for all the ones that we're targeting here in the community, being that we're running them out of their freaking houses. I'm just saying, right? Like, you know, like, I'm so I'm giving Andre Uncle Marcane's room after, you know, it gets whatever. Oh, fuck, man, I don't even know. Cleaned under the floorboards, right? Or whatever. And to keep, so that he doesn't feel so lonely and scared and abandoned, right? Locked into a situation that, you know, and that will be his little space to learn to hang up the clothes, his clothes, and, you know, put his clothes, you know, wherever, and, you know, he can have his shoes and his Lego and whatever, his little sound equipment or whatever, right? Will he stay in there forever? I don't know. It depends how long it takes me to clear out the upstairs. Depends on what I decide to do, right? I don't plan on putting a lot of expensive things downstairs. I don't. I'm going to do it in increments, whether I'm like fabric. Like, you know, I would like to use as much fabric as I can with the help of other people helping me to do piecework, which they'll get paid for, right? And Andre will learn how to sew. I mean, obviously I'll do whatever I can do with Amari, either rolling around on a queen size blow up mattress in the middle of the floor up by the fireplace with bean bags, which this table here I'm thinking to take downstairs, put in the leaf. I'd have to put it up on bricks or something just to bring it up a bit higher, right? And use that as a cutting table and a sorting out table of books and, you know, just whatever and and so that I can start moving things and, you know, either using them or putting them into categories so I can sell them, or I can give them away. But now I'm looking at those damn bins again, as I'm being accused of lying about water, as my heart's going like this right now because I can hear the freaking rain picking up. And that's another thing. Yesterday, not so much today, but yesterday, my whole fucking arm was like, I don't know. It is kind of feeling like, now mind you, I'm not sleeping very good, and Amari was sleeping he sleeps on, he likes to put his head here facing out, right? He likes to cuddle, right? So I let him sleep. I try and give him cuddle time just because he's little, and, it's hard on him, his body is, and it's very, nobody cares, man. And but I don't know, like, my heart was hurting. And not only was my heart hurting, but my arm was kind of like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm like, no, you're not having no heart attack, Judy. For crying out loud, don't give them what they want. That's what I'm telling myself. Don't give them what they want. That's what they freaking want, man. And if it's not that, it's voice to skull. That man that was standing there holding that damn purse with that freaking yellow thing, right? Honestly, he looked like my landlord's son. Because he kind of looked like my son, but he wasn't my son. Because her son kind of looks like my son, only her son is older and has a pot belly. Marcane doesn't have a pot belly, but the same kind of similar face and hair shit, right? I just didn't mention it because that guy scares me. Telling me, oh no, I don't have your purse, but here, you can take this purse. This is your purse. You take this one. No, give me back my purse. No, well, where's it coming from? These dreams, people. Too many bad dreams. Yeah. I gotta go check. Hold on a minute. on him when I went to go check on him when I went to go get that water, right? And I woke him up. He's playing, making his play noises. But you know, you don't always get it, right? But yeah, like, you know, like I bought a single size blow up mattress for Andre if he wants to lay on it after I buy a queen size to put downstairs to have Amari basically roll around on it as I suppose work on making some bean bags because I'm going to set up a little sewing area, right, to start moving this fabric. Andre wants to make army pants for himself because I have a whole bolt full. Am I being forced to sell my fabric? Or just get rid of it? Just get rid of everything. Take it out of the house. Get it out. The plumbers are coming to change the carpet. Okay. As they're laughing. Yeah, well, we told you were going to sleep on shit. Yeah, you're right. You did tell us. I wonder how you knew that. Because it was planned. That's why. And so, you know, whatever. I can't do anything about that. Right? And, you know, I'll make a few, if I don't buy bean bags, I'll make a few bean bags. I have one kicking around. It should be around unless it's been disappeared. I don't know. I have to look for it. And just see how he does. You know, see what he does, see how he does. You know, lay down with him, see what happens. Right? You know, see how safe it is. Because that's basically what it boils down to. Right? See how fast he can move from one end to the other end if he's determined to do it. You know, is it even feasible to make plans to, you know, right? And then of course there's the leaking of his diaper, and so I've got like cotton diaper fabric, tons of it, right? And I've been meaning for years to try and make some diapers, and I'd have to make rubber pants, and I'm going to use tent material for the rubber pants. Because the Pampers and the artificial diapers, the Pampers or Huggies or whatever, they're not working. He's always leaking out on them, and it creates so much laundry, and you know it's frustrating, right? And it's a lot of work, and so I'm gonna, you know, and plus I'd like to put him in a cloth diaper every now and then. So I'm going to try and, you know, as soon as I get the sewing table up downstairs, it's nothing to make freaking diapers. It's just not. And, you know, a few rubber pants or whatever. And I'm going to let him try that and see if that helps with the leaking. Obviously, it's better for his skin as long as you change the diaper in a timely manner. And because there's a bit more room down there, I can have a diaper pail in the bathroom. I can't have a diaper pail up here. It's kind of, you know, right? It's right. But I could have one downstairs. I washed diapers with my kids over a period of 5 kids by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 11 years out of 5 kids. Some were out of diapers by 2 years old. Some were 2.5. 5 kids. So we'll say no more than 11.5 years. Because most of them were potty trained by the time they were 2. Because I use cloth diapers. Yeah. Will Amari ever be potty trained? Probably not. He can't control himself that way. His body won't allow it. Oh, so what? He's not important? His needs aren't important? Right? Where are you throwing my stuff out to, and where are you throwing me out to? I'd like to know. What, you gonna make me pay $21.50 for upstairs and raise my rent in January? That's next month. As you kick me out of the basement, you might as well kick me out of the whole damn house. I need that basement. There's things I gotta do. My life has been on hold for way too long. Way too long. Right? And yeah, I'm on rain patrol here. And forget about the pooch patrol. I'm on rain patrol. For the next 4 months, 5 months. With my heart going like this. Yeah, right. I just wasn't sure if I was having a heart attack yesterday or if I was just getting, what is that called, indigestion, which I never get, right? Because it was rumbling. It was rumbling in there, you know? Did it have something to do with Amari sleeping on my chest? Probably, because he's getting heavy. No matter what anybody says, he's getting longer and he's getting heavy, but he still looks skinny. But the paramedics, when they came in the dark, couldn't even see shit. By the time they got him into the ambulance, they said, oh, don't worry about it. We come into contact with these kids all the time. And it's okay, because that's the way they are. That's the way they are. Many of them are like Amari. I'm like, oh, finally, somebody admits it. Finally. Just saying. So, yeah. So, the lima beans. I bought the lima beans, the 3 extra lima beans bags, because they're so good. So, now in my head, I'm going to upload this. I'm going to keep, whatever I say now is going out. It's my next video, because I got to get on with my life here, people, okay? This woman yesterday said to me, because, I told her I want to liquidate and, move things along. And she goes, yeah, you have an emotional attachment to everything. I know it's hard for you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, actually, it's when you're going blind, it's completely different. Once you think you can't see shit, as if you'd care. You're right. You know what? I mean, of course you're going to care, but not as much as if you see it. Okay? There's a big difference between going blind, accepting the fact that you're going blind, and there's a high probability there will come a day when you won't see nothing. So when that time comes, do you honestly think I'm worried about whatever is around me outside of maybe what's being put in front of me when it comes to food? Right? But while I'm still somewhat normal, where I can kind of see things, I'd like to live my life in some peace and be productive, have some little prosperity, even if it just means Andre learns how to make pizza pockets. Right? Becomes a better caregiver to Amari, being that he doesn't want to lose him. I don't want to lose him. But everybody else around me doesn't seem to care about that. They're too busy trying to move in their buddies. Capitalize off of what? Okay. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. No. So I got the green lentils just because I already have whole red lentils, and I just thought I'd top it off. I'm not worried about the beans, the lentils being chicken food, because a lot of those things are in 1-size gallon jars, in boxes, with oxygen absorbers or whatever, and they'll be perfectly fine. And even if they're in a Mylar bag, bugs don't necessarily like beans and those kind of things. Wheat, oh yeah, that's where I'm a little nervous. Okay, the lima beans. Oh my God, Andre. He keeps putting his phone on an alarm. Andre!
What?
Your phone! It doesn't turn off. Okay, so now I am going to be making bread soon. As a matter of fact, I had that girl come over to help me start cleaning the oven. Turn it off! Yeah, but I guess she didn't want to, even though she said she didn't mind, right? So I'm now cleaning my oven upstairs. And then the other one downstairs will probably need to be cleaned, because I'm going to be getting into making breads. That's it. I'm done. I've been saying it for years. I'm at the point where, blah, blah, blah. And so in my head, I'm making the bread with the new wheat that's coming in, But before I'd use that wheat, I'd go and hunt for my older wheats, right? But I am going to, you know, bag that up properly, seal the bag properly, the Mylar bags, right? I've got still a couple of extra buckets downstairs. So I'll put them in the buckets with the gamma lids. So that'll be all great. And then, of course, I'll just be tapping into my older wheats, which are organic, the same kind, right? The same, right? I'll just have to get organized with it, okay? And I'm making little buns in my head, cooking up some lima beans, because they're delicious, and making a nice gravy, homemade gravy, because you know I want to do that, right? And honestly, you could do that with the beans, with the gravy, with a couple of those buns. That in itself is a meal by itself. And like, I want to do it, like, soon. And I want to do it downstairs. Because I don't have a functioning kitchen upstairs. Even the social workers agree it's not a functioning kitchen. It's a kitchen. I use it. I've processed a lot of food in it. I cook in it. But it's not what I want when it comes to being more creative, more in bulk, more efficient, more nutritional, yada-yada-yada-yada. So in other words, I'd cook 1 or 2, 3 times a week downstairs, and then upstairs, whatever, right? As well as maybe work with 1 or 2 people to make a few meals to build in that program development for those that maybe aren't getting enough to eat because nobody cares about them and just expects them to have nothing and own nothing and be nothing and then just disappear where nobody goes looking for them. Yeah, right. Like, seriously, man. So, you know, the older foods, I'm bringing them up to the front. And then whoever's around me, whether there's somebody around me or not, because, you know, I can lead people to water, but I can't make them drink. And if they're too busy drinking something else and they don't want to learn anything in terms of food prepping and cooking and sewing and whatever, well, then so be it. I will utilize what I have. Yeah, so, you know, that's what I'm going to do. So with the lima beans, with the gravy, and then the organic wheat bread, whatever the grain is, right? It doesn't matter. All I have to do is open up a can, a jar, like home canned good, of either chicken, turkey, pork, beef, fish, ham, whatever I got. I got all over the place. Put that in there. Oh yeah. And then a little vegetable or something on the side, whether it's dehydrated, rehydrated, whether it came from a can or whether it grew from the garden or whether or whatever, right? But ultimately, I'd like to just try the lima beans with the gravy, get a really nice rich gravy. You could throw in a few sauteed onions in there, that would be nice, with the lima beans, and then have 2 or 3, or you know, if you're a man, you probably want 4 or 5 biscuits with it, like buns. You could eat that without any meat. You don't need the meat, you don't need the vegetables. You know, survival food. That's delicious and nutritional. I want to do that before I go completely blind and end up in a freaking garbage can, being that I get treated like trash by individuals that are, I don't know, people, like, no, I won't end up in a garbage bin. I'll be one of those people that end up in a bin. You know, well, it is a garbage haul out garbage, right? All over a pipe and a basement. And don't forget, I spent, I don't know how much money I spent, well over $100, just again, to buy things to try and get rid of mice. My son, I have to buy the foam, right? And, you know, obviously an air, furnace filter, whatever. But I have to buy the foam so that he can go on the outside and foam up all the cracks. That's not even my job. It's not my response, but I'm doing it. I bought the sticky traps. I bought all the, you know, I bought like a bunch of it's like a Brillo, right? To, you know, fill up the cracks outside. My son said, "Oh, no more of those. You got enough of those. What we need now is the foam." Right? He's going to work with Andre wall to wall to wall to wall. One day it will be this wall, another day it will be that wall, right? And like, we're not asking the landlord for any money for that crap. She didn't care. You can't say it was the food that brought in the mice, because most of that stuff is in Mylar buckets. Even a rat can't chew through those gamma lids. I suppose if it wanted to, bad enough, but they're kind of designed where it would be almost impossible, and they use a different type of plastic, right? That's not why the mice are there. The mice is because of the building, the ripping up the ground and scaring them away, and no maintenance on the outside of this house for the last 15 years. That's why they're here. And whatever's going on in the roof, well, I don't know. My son will have to figure that one out. So anyway, I got that. That was only $72. And what I just bought recently, I feel satisfied now with the lima beans, because I plan on using lima beans more, right? Once I don't know, people. I mean, if they want me to start like, fuck, man. I'll call the cops. I swear, I'll call the cops. I'll get it documented, and I'll get a file. And then I'll go to Landlords and Tenancy Act branch. And then I'll go to the freaking Supreme Court of Canada. I'm not even going to mess around with the province. Well, actually, the Landlords and Tenancy Act branch, they deal, if they're going to go that way, they do whatever they do in the provincial court. But anything up and above a certain dollar amount, you know, if you're going to take everything away from me and throw me in a fucking bin right along with everything else that you took, and then still come after me and tell me I owe you money because you had to throw out everything in the bin and it costed you money so that you could move in a bunch of fucking goons and some immigrant family that's going to be a stack and pack sardine freaking festival. I'm just saying, well, the government supports that, but they want to support, but they won't help me. Oh yeah, okay, I don't think so. So large lima beans. Anything else? I don't see this stuff very well anymore. Yeah. So the lima beans, the green lentils, the organic kummet, right, which is good for pastas and that type of thing, and the N corn, which has this higher concentration of something, starts with an L, that is good for the eyes, and both of them are easy to digest, which is good for Amari, right? I'm already making a meal around it. You know, you got your core meal. I'd like to try it just like that, just as a lunch, right? You know, just some lima beans with some sautéed onions in there, and nice rich gravy with fresh homemade buns with organic wheat. That would be just lovely. Watching Amari rolling around on a queen-size mattress on a floor downstairs where he's safe. Is that too much to ask? Being that I've been here 15 years and I came in with 2 freaking big ass freaking moving trucks. So it's not like I didn't come in with anything. If that's what it was going to come down to, why did you tell me move, take it now, and stay as long as you want, just to throw it all out? Because it would take 2 moving trucks to move me out. Yeah. It's okay to come in with it. Pay, do, pay, do, pay, do, boo, do, and pay, and still pay, and still do. But now I'm not allowed to finish up whatever it was that I never got to do because I was too busy paying for something else and doing for something else and doing for somebody else, that it's just all going to disappear into the abyss. Yeah, okay. That was $476.50 and $106.46 for delivery. Wait a minute. I ordered jars here, but they don't have it here. I wanted 4 jars. Oh, yes, here we go. And I also bought 4 1-gallon jars as the finale because I want to feel comfortable downstairs. So I bought them for downstairs as I'm going through everything, trying to figure out, you know, whatever, how we're going to run it down there. So it makes sense, right? And so I just got the 4 extra jars. That was $40. They were $10 a jar. So that's okay. Just because when you're, you know, you want to look after your food, right? I'll probably, like, when I start getting into my buckets and stuff, right? Because if I can't find whatever I'm looking for, I'll just, if I come across it, I'll just fill up a jar. Either or. So the total bill was $587, and yes, I maxed out my credit card, knowing that I'm probably going to be going bankrupt here within months. So I figured like this, well, I'm going to be paying still my bill, so they'll get back their money. Until I just can't do it no more. Because I lose everything, basically. I don't even get a chance to sell anything. No. Because it might get ugly. Right? I don't know what to say. And I have to go with the punches. It's like being punched out all the time. Remember those videos? I feel like I'm starting to be punched out, like in a literal sense. No, figuratively. In a figurative sense, not literally. I'm not physically getting it, but I'm getting it in a figurative sense. Yeah. So, I don't know what I will find when I get into my buckets. Hopefully everything will be fine. I hope there is no chicken food down there, because that's more bread to make. And I have a right to make bread. Yeah. And I need space for that. Okay? Downstairs, the way I'm going to set it up will be perfect. We can make flat breads, all kinds of breads, different breads, whatever. It's just, I don't know. They always want you miserable. They just want to keep you miserable. That's been the biggest hurdle in this house. Keep the family arguing. Keep them miserable. Don't fix things so they're miserable. Let them do for themselves so they're miserable because they just don't have the resources to do whatever it needs to be done. And if they do, like me working in the yard, they have to sacrifice basically their life, which ends up making them miserable and keeps them miserable. Yeah. And when you can blindside them, just pull out the rug from underneath their feet and push them out the door, throw their ass into the bin, and then come back and say they owe you. Whoever you threw out, go after them because it costed money to get rid of them. Yeah, right. No, more like you made $1 million off their body after you were done. And if it wasn't you, it was somebody in your group. Yeah. Well, our governments are negligent, completely negligent. Well, I'm going to end it on this note because you know why they're so completely negligent? Because some of them that are so-called quote-unquote politicians, I don't think so. Think of that robotoid coroner for the province of British Columbia, Canada, that gets a paycheck for being a robot to falsify death certificates. Well, you can almost say the same thing about some of these politicians. And I don't think it's white people, quote unquote, that are replacing white people with robots. Being that white people are the majority, supposedly, right? And the problem, supposedly. I'm not saying white people aren't a problem because they are. But I think we're well beyond what people think these days when it comes to that institutional racism within our governments. Yeah, I do. I have never come into so much contact with racist, straight up, I almost want to say hateful, seriously, hateful individuals under a collective ideology that is in complete denial when confronted with it, but yet revel with it, with that racism against the ones that don't look like them. They get off on it. Canada is a very dangerous place. Extremely dangerous for anyone that doesn't fit in when it comes to racism.